and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any comments or questions about the agenda? If not, I'll get a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Okay. Carries. Public comment. And administrative reports. Miss Jolene, you're first.
Just have some budget adjustments to go over. I did call the auditor today because I haven't got my okay print yet, or haven't received my audit yet. I thought I'd get it by now, but I haven't yet, so I'll call her again tomorrow, and I just missed her. I didn't know they closed at 4, so I'll follow up and see where we're at on that, but the main thing is, well, it's not very big, but a little bit on Perkins Grant. That's our final amount, $182. I think we had initial, it was 15,000, so. That was in conjunction with the CTE grant money that Mr. Parker got. The other is basically just some maintenance items, moving money, where I have a shortfall. Software line and advertisement and board travel line. I need to add some to that as well. As I'm putting some more money in for repair on the buses, so hopefully that's enough, but we'll see. I'm not exactly sure what's wrong yet with them.
Both of them?
We're down in the bus department for sure. And under CTE, just some money, moving a little bit of money over there for, we've got that forklift, and we needed to put a little bit more money in that line. And as well as that, under PY Foundation, it was a grant that they're doing for some professional development, so moved a little bit of money in there. Otherwise, that's about all we've got going, moving money around.
Any questions from Ms. Jolene? Thank you. Mr. Barber.
This month seems like we had a lot of stocked up sinks we've been working on. They've been a battle. Had some heater issues, but most of them just been nothing serious, minor repairs. I've had the bus issues this month. Yellow bus is at Grimm's, and hopefully it'll be done tomorrow. They ordered a hose from Hillary and then changed out the PCV valve. When we pick it up, we'll take the white bus, Bobcat 2, up to them and put their machine on and read the codes and try to figure out why it's losing power. Install it. Still waiting on J&G to show up to finish certifying our fire alarm system. They're supposed to come on February the 3rd to finish up. Waiting on a quote to replace heaters and ag shop. Also waiting on the roofers to do the central office. And then tomorrow we got to install some mats on the walls, a sword head banging in the sped room.
Any questions?
Do we still have the one bus that is broke down?
Yes, sir.
Is that, have we ever got anything else looked at on that, or is that one just, we need to get rid of?
Particular filter for the diesel is the one that's, we replaced it twice now, and every time it's around about 12 grand.
Why don't you tell them what we discussed
We
in
had
regards to that bus?
it cut out, that filter cut out, and then bypass it, which I think is the best thing to do.
So just gonna have it deleted?
Mm-hmm.
It is legal now.
The back truck is.
That would be a bad idea. Our trucks are $8,000 every time ours messes up. So,
Any other questions? Thank you.
I got an email today, Mr. Barbie, in regards to, with the starting date for the roofing. But I can't remember his name here, and they were supposed to be here on the 20th, but then again, due to the weather, then that kind of delayed some. But I believe it's sometime this week, Gary, that they'll be here to do the central office roofing. I have to find it.
Okay. Thank you. Special education.
Hey, everyone. Well, shoot, let's see. 80th day, we have no issues, errors have been fixed. We'll wait on the 120th day when it happens, and we'll fix them. Then wait for 160, we'll fix them. So everything's cool there. I attended the statewide sped directors conference in January. That was pretty helpful, the first week of January. The indicator 13 file review, all the data's been uploaded. That's usually a major headache for every district. Indicator 13 is where we have to prove that what we're doing for our secondary kids is going to be beneficial in the future. So that's been taken care of. And of course, I had my powwow with the PED this morning for 90 minutes to deal with the bureaucracy of the OSC. And so we're cool there. There is one big chunk of our cap that was taken care of this morning. And I'm behaving myself with those folks up there. So everything's cool and they're still funding us and no one's been fired. And we're not going to take over or whatever their threats are. So everything is fine with special ed. Everybody's working hard. Kids are learning. Questions?
Thank you.
So you had a meeting this morning or today with Ed over what?
Our corrective action plan that we've been working on for 3 years. The way it works with the Office of Special Ed, which is busted off from the PED now, is you make one little error. And in this case, we missed a deadline, a 60-day deadline. And when you do one little thing, they basically put you on a plan, which is basically penance, which lasts for years and years, where you justify that, yes, we've learned our lesson, we're not going to make these mistakes again. Well, it's still going on because every time we upload something, they nitpick it, and then we have to correct those things. Let me give you an example of what I mean by the bureaucracy of the OSC. So the gal looked me dead in the face on Zoom and said, you need to have a training with all of your special ed staff and your administrators. And the training needs to be so they are ensured that they understand the 60-day timeline between when you sign an eval and eval happens. And I said to them, you really want me to have a training on that when I can just go tell them it'll take 15 seconds, plus everybody already knows that. We knew that 3 years ago when you put us on the plan. And basically she didn't flinch, and it's like, yeah. So it's like, oh, okay. So every time you take one step forward, you take 2 steps back, basically. And now that the OSC has been invented, which happened 2 years ago, you got a whole new block of bureaucrats, basically, that need to justify their jobs. And that's why I behave myself with this and do as I'm told. But really, it's like there is no reason for a corrective action plan when all that has been already corrected. But, yeah. send us 10 IEPs so we can nitpick them to see if you're actually doing what you said 3 years ago. It's like, we couldn't have an IEP if we hadn't done that 3 years ago. It's like, let me give another example. Like, remember about 2 weeks ago, I think Trump said something crazy like, I think I'm gonna get rid of the Department of Education. He said that, and of course I was like, Trump says the funniest darn things. Then I started thinking, you know what? Because he said the funding source is still there. Well, that's all we need is just the funding source. If you look at it, even at the statewide level, all we need is the funding source. We don't need them to tell us what to do. We've got the local board to tell us what to do. It's like, it actually makes sense if you look at it. Fund us, get out of the way. We might need stuff like, like the NMAA or something like that, where there's real rules, but other than that, it's like, just leave Hagerman schools alone, We'll let you know when we want the checks, Did that answer your question? Okay. It happens all the time. It's not something new. She emails me all the time. We're going to meet at 1 o'clock, and it's like 12:55. I'm like, oh, good thing I read my email.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, thank you. SRO, he's not here.
He's not here.
All right, elementary.
All right, here's a report. I have made notes that I missed, that I did not put in, so we'll add to it. Our enrollment is 217. We've had one student transfer back, and we added pre-K, actually 3 pre-K students and another first grade student since Christmas break. So our attendance is around 93% each day. December 19th, we held our Christmas program. We did something a little bit different this year. Is we did pre-K through first, and then did an intermission, and then did 2nd through 5th. Because the previous year it was so crowded, people couldn't get in and see, and so that worked out pretty well. The only thing we really got to adjust is I need somebody in the cafeteria to police all the dads not to take the cookies, because they had platefuls and there's a lot. So that was a good adjustment. On Friday, my dates are off. On Friday the 20th, we had a house day for those kids who came. I'll send you this in an electronic version, and you can check out the video that Ms. Flores created. So we introduced a new game, Head, Shoulders, Cup. And needless to say, Alina De La Torre is our champion, and she wears that with pride. So she's going to get challenged here at the end of February. Then we're going to bring it back out. There's our December super readers and amazing mathematicians. I also went ahead and added our January super readers and January amazing mathematicians. We did our fall awards assembly on Friday, January 17th. It was originally scheduled for the 10th, and then we rescheduled it just because with the weather of that first week, we wanted opportunity for everybody to come and stuff like that. We are looking at ways to make that more efficient because it's long, and the other thing is police parents from leaving because they just get up and leave and take their kids. So some of that stuff we're adjusting. The other big change, a couple other things before I get to that. We departmentalized our 5th grade. We had been talking about it in the fall, looking at test scores. That gave us the time to get to know Ms. Flores as she came in. She has a master's in reading and is a really, really strong reading teacher. And so looking at test scores, looking at how can we best prepare our 5th grade students for middle school, we decided to departmentalize our 5th grade. So Ms. Flores is doing ELA and science, and Ms. Foster is doing math and social studies. Part of that reason is Ms. Flores, as we were talking about it, Ms. Flores said, I can't teach social studies. Why can't you teach it? 'Cause she's a really good teacher. And she's like, well, I didn't have it. I said, well, who's our first president? And she goes, I don't know, you. And so it was kind of like a epiphany because she's from the Philippines. She doesn't know all that kind of stuff. So she really loves science, and so we kept everybody in their strong subjects. So that instruction increases, the quality of instruction increases, and really just to help prepare our kids for middle school. A couple other things, our canopies got replaced on the elementary playground. They all had holes in them from the weather and stuff, so those got replaced this week. Next week, they should come and replace the sandbox cover. And so that is on its way. With the weather the first week, the elementary developed a remote learning plan that will be found on, we also created an elementary homepage that we'll be adding to, but it'll all be there on those remote learning days that we need to have due to weather. Couple other things coming up. Ms. Rodriguez, Ms. Copeland, Ms. Lopez, and myself will head out tomorrow to the High Reliability School Summit in San Antonio. Really looking forward to that. We'll be there the rest of the week. We'll come back on Friday. By our side, which has been at the secondary schools in January, started at the elementary schools. So there's 6 of us, me included, who's getting coaching and mentoring from an experienced admin or teacher. And so the response from our staff has been really, really good on that. They will get 7 visits in this semester. So it's pretty every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, they're coming. So, which is a good thing. And then on February 28th, IXL, which is the skill-based program that the middle school's been doing, we purchased in December, and they will be on campus February 28th to train all of our staff and stuff. And so we're already seeing some good results, kids mastering skills and stuff, so we're excited about that. Upcoming events, February 6th, actually this Friday, let me back up. This Friday we have our spelling bee at 1 o'clock. February 6th, we have our drama performance of Alice in Wonderland. Ms. Copeland's been working with that group. They're excited about that. February 13th and 14th, we have parent-teacher conferences coming up. And then February 10th and 14th, that same week, we'll have a book fair. And then March 4th, we have planned NIMI to come back out and do a STEM night again for us. So that'll be on a Tuesday. So I'm sure I left something off, but that's what I got for you, man.
What were you trying to copy?
That was me trying to get it done, and I didn't realize. There you go. That's about where my brain is right now.
You gotta cross your eyes.
You do. What do you see? That's really the question. Do you see the dragon or the lady? Or
Looks like a snowstorm.
It does. It does look like a snowstorm. Guys, Sam, for any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Williams? Thank you.
Thank you.
Middle school, high school?
This is what Cody's got. Enrollment has remained relatively steady from the fall. Few migrant families have returned to Mexico. We have 1 new 9th grade student, and we lost 1 high school and 1 middle school student to Lake Arthur. The attendance, we continue to see positive trends with attendance. I know that we had some holes in our policy. We kind of found those out as we were going through the No Zeros Heroes and looking at kids that we need to withhold credit from. We kind of fixed that up. We had a meeting at the beginning of the semester. We figured out how Synergy can run reports for us a little bit more accurately. And now we're getting those detailed reports and checking attendance weekly to see who's fallen behind and where they're at. And that way we have a better understanding of what procedures we need to take to make sure that these kids are staying in school. But when it comes to final exams, many students were able to capitalize on their good attendance for the fall semester and were exempt from final exams. We highlighted those numbers in our awards ceremony when we came back on that first Friday, second Friday that we came back, second Friday because the first one snowed out. A lot of students, I think 30-something students in the high school I know were No Zeros Heroes. They had hundreds on like all their finals or at least one of their finals. And then there was, I think, 70 students that had at least a 90 in one of their finals. So a lot of kids took advantage of it. It helped a lot of students with their final semester grades. Middle School Student Council is selling candygrams for Valentine's Day, and they are hosting another dance on January 31st in the high school commons area. First one was a huge success. The junior class hosted a very successful bingo night fundraiser last Friday. They have one more fundraiser planned for the spring, and they will have the concession stands at the youth basketball games, which will start in February 8th. Back to school PD teachers took part in some activities to kick off the new semester. One of the most informative was the start, stop, continue activity where staff members gave their insights on things that we should consider starting, stopping, or keep doing. Looking forward to taking action on some of the feedback that was provided. Teachers were able to work in their classrooms, and the math department took part in some curriculum training. Did the same thing for students. Welcome back workshops for the middle school and high school students, focusing on attendance, AI use, capturing kids' hearts, and updating their next step plans. Students also offered their insights using the Start, Stop, Continue activity as well. 4-H Friday, the middle school students took part in cultural education program on Friday, 117, with the staff on the cooperative extension program making corn husk dolls. 2 more programs are scheduled, one in February and another in March. Students really enjoy the activity. Spring calendar is filled with lots of activities for staff and students, and it will be busy. Jump in if you have questions. Jump in with athletics. You guys have questions?
Question?
Okay. Athletics. We hosted the SEC tournament for the junior high for the boys this past Saturday. 6 middle school teams for the 8th graders participated. 4 for the 7th grade. The 7th grade got second. They lost to Eunice by 2 points, very close game. The 8th grade boys got, or our A team got third. They lost to Eunice as well in that game. Great seasons. Their seasons wrapped up. They're over. I think 8th grade had 3 losses and 4 losses. I forgot about Captain. And then the 7th grade just had 1 loss on the season. Great season for those guys. The girls went to Tatum. And with bus issues and all, they were able to play a couple games in Tatum and do very well. High school started district play. We started last week in Eunice. The girls have kind of struggled to start. The boys are technically still playing their first district game because of an unfortunate injury that happened on the court. We will resume that next Friday, right where we left off pretty much. Had a couple of parent meetings with our junior high basketball program. That's resolved. That's been addressed with coaches and players when it was been necessary. And I'm trying to think anything else that I'm leaving off. Oh, track schedules. First iteration of the track schedule is brought to me. We're signing up for meets that are close by that will be good for our students. I should have a final track schedule for you guys in February for that meeting. Any questions athletic-wise?
Football coach, was that posted?
Football
It's
coach is
posted.
posted. Yes.
How's that going?
2 applicants on REAP right now. A couple more have expressed interest. I haven't seen any new applicants. I checked this afternoon, so only 2 so far. And then we'll see where we can go down the road.
Any other questions? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Parker?
All right, have some small things. Next month, we'll kind of bring to you guys, some CTE stuff and graduation requirements that the Department of Education, putting in place. Middle of January, Cody and I attended the leadership workshop for career technical education. This is kind of a requirement workshop to receive Perkins and Next Gen state funding for our career tech programs. As Ms. Jolien said, we did get an increase of $182 to our $15,000. I'm going to take that $182. Don't know what we're going to do with it, but we're going to take it. We're going to use it as we keep progressing through. February 3rd opens our APR process. And so some of our processes that haven't been fully complete in the years past before Ms. Reyes and I started doing this and rebuilding our CTE funding and getting these funds in, we're required to have some committee meetings. And so technically today we had our first leadership committee meeting. And so I'll be working on and inviting some of you guys to be joining our full CTE committee meetings that we're required to turn in for PED, they're required for our funding, things like that. In that aspect for the federal law that has changed and will continuously change with the Department of Education. It's a fun time dealing with those people up north. Some of the graduation requirements have changed a little bit. There's some requirements. Our region has changed some. They pretty much foregoed. The term STEM is no longer a term in education. The higher up said, I don't want that no more, and they threw it out. And our region actually made that a priority. And so our region has to kind of revote on all of our priorities before we can actually unlock our APR and start moving forward and building our regional, district, and local priorities. Just like athletics, FFA is getting going. We're going to start judging season in about 3 weeks. We have NMLC coming up next week, which will be our junior high state event for 4 individuals competing, 2 in illustrated talk, 1 in compared, 1 in creed. So that's going to be pretty exciting to see how these kids do. Cash Foster will actually be one of the first 6th graders in the state to compete on the FFA creed side of things. Probably one of the first in the nation. Since 6th graders have been allowed in FFA. So it's really exciting. Hagerman is making these waves. Trip Moss was the first 6th grader to ever walk stage in State New Mexico for a high school event. And so now we have Cash walking for hopefully going to be walking competing on the state level. So it's pretty exciting to see these little things. I don't have too much for you guys right now until February, as we'll kind of start getting a little bit closer to that CTE grant period. I know for sure the numbers are increased. We're looking at maybe about 115,000 we'll probably receive out of the 2 grants next year. So hopefully it keeps going up and we can keep purchasing new things and making our programs better. But that's time for questions.
Any questions for Mr. Parker? Anything? All right. Next item is the minutes from the meeting of December 16th and new investment bills for the month of December. Is there any questions? Just need a motion to approve. So moved. All set, Chris? Second by Dusty. All in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Okay, motion carries. Budget adjustments. Any other questions for Mr. Jones on those? Just need a motion to approve.
Make the motion.
Second. Second by Dusty. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Next item is PSCOC.
So just Friday, I received an email from, PSFA. And so basically, I just wanted to share some of these important updates regarding the new school project. And so PSFA, they have provided a revised GSF, which is the square footage. They have a new calculator which could potentially increase the building total to 83,587 square footage, which, compared to the current qualification of 69,732, which, it's significantly higher. And so this additional space would require a formal request to the PSCOC. And, again, it could have a significant impact on the overall design of the school. So I have already reached out to PSFA to request further guidance, not necessarily the letter yet because I need further guidance on the process. And then, of course, to determine the potential costs involved. I also spoke with Decker, which, they are our design company, and their recommendation, if we do decide to go with the, extra footage, then, to possibly use this additional square footage for areas such as a larger cafeteria, possible office spaces, or, similar needs rather than expanding more classrooms. Because, sometimes it just results in unused classrooms. So next week we will be holding a kickoff meeting, and I will be contacting you, some of you, or if all 5 of you want to be here, that would be great, which requires the presence of all, key stakeholders so that we can ensure everyone is informed and aligned. The meeting will be on the 4th. At 3 o'clock, and again, I will be sending you an email, and if you're interested, please let me know. So before moving forward, I'd like to gather just your input on whether this is an opportunity that we should explore more, and as it will give us, additional space, but let me know your thoughts and if you would like, to discuss this further during our upcoming meeting, which will be on the 4th. I know it's going to be a little bit more money today. As a matter of fact, or Raquel, she already did the purchase order so that we can pay for our part. And I believe the purchase order was $328,000. It's going to be a little bit more if we decide to go with the additional square footage, but it's going to be significant because I believe like the gym over here at the middle school, that one is like 7,000. So just imagine, I mean, it's going to be from 69 to 83. It's a considerable amount, so.
So you're saying 2 gyms?
You're not getting 2 new gyms.
No, 3, because we're already getting new ones. 2 extra.
All
A
cool.
sauna room and
Yeah, hot, there we go,
So,
yeah, infrared.
in my email today that I submitted to PSFA, let me see if I can find it here right quick. I mentioned to, and I haven't received a response yet, so I'm hoping that I get a response tomorrow. Okay, so,
how many offices are we needing? I mean, I know like SRO, they always mention an office. Is there anybody else that?
So we do have the kickoff meeting this coming week, and then, that's why he would like to have all the key, the stakeholders and possibly parents, and that way, we can discuss what our needs are. And that would be our first, meeting. So basically, this is what I mentioned to the PSFA today, I hope this message finds you well. I'm writing to follow up on our application for, a waiver regarding the construction of the new combined pre-K-12 school for Hagerman Municipal Schools. Okay, so basically I'm just asking, is this in the MOU as well as just for the design project? So let's see, that's theirs. We understand that the updated GSF calculator could allow for additional square footage for our new school. I would appreciate your guidance on submitting a formal request to PSCOC to account for these potential changes. Specifically, could you clarify the best time to submit the letter requesting the adjustments, whether additional costs will incur by the district as a result of applying for the waiver? So we already have a waiver and there was a certain amount, which, if the amount stays the same, because, we do have a waiver, then we should be okay. However, the first part for the design, our part was supposed to be 600 and, I believe it's 624,000, and it was half of that. It was 328. So, that's gonna give us extra money there. And then again, whether additional costs will be incurred by the district as a result of applying for the waiver and increasing square footage. Your expertise and insights are invaluable as we navigate this process. We are committed to ensuring that the new school meets the needs for our students and community while staying aligned with the PSFA requirements. Please let us know if there is a convenient time for us to discuss this further or additional information is needed from our end. I look forward to your response. I haven't heard anything. However, I really just wanted to, we don't really need to make an approval on this, but I just wanted you to be informed. If this is something that you want to do and maybe we can pursue it.
I still want to see them get it done by 2027.
So today I have to submit some documentation, some paperwork that I have to upload, and the completion date is February 2028.
Oh.
Close.
So, but it was November 27, now it's February the 28th,
You haven't even started yet.
and they haven't even started, so.
Homer hasn't even.
And I know that this is a very slow process. It's not an easy task. It's a slow process, but I think it's going to be something nice, for the years to come. And so, in my opinion, I think it's worth it. We probably will. Mr. Decker, he will be giving me some numbers on how much more it will cost. So right now, the way we had it, our share was PSFA would pay 75%, Hagerman would pay 25, but with the waiver, it now PSFA will pay 88% and our share is 12%, which is really not a whole lot.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be to do about the whole, what the breakdowns and differences are gonna be of if we put in the waiver and we do get that additional 20,000, how much is that gonna change?
So,
The
you know,
cost.
the waiver has already been submitted and it was granted. So if we keep the same, I mean, if they can give us the square footage
Right.
with the same waiver, I think it's a win-win situation.
Right.
But if not, then, you know, they might request a little bit more money for the waiver.
Well, they won't make us redo the whole process if we do.
And no, but I do have to submit a letter though, and, you know, I'm just waiting because this just barely came out and I thought, well, you know, we have a board meeting, so I'll mention it to them. And, I mean, it just came out and that's why I just wanted to let you know, but I don't think so because basically it's just a letter that I have to submit once they are ready and they have more information and then, just to let them know that we are requesting the new calculations. And again, you know, you don't have to vote on this, so basically it's just, you know, hopefully once I have more information.
I think
Until I
there's
have more-
probably too many unknowns.
Yes, too many unknowns, uh-huh.
Scared to add, you know,
Mhm.
14,000 square feet to cost.
Well, it's one of those, I wonder if it's one of like, we could have it but not need it.
Well, that's what my other question was, is
If we get approved for it, do we have to
use it.
use it?
Mhm.
That's what I would be.
And I think, you know, the best bet would be to listen to the, Mr. Decker, which his name is Sanjay, and see what he has to say. Because that's what he was saying, you know, that instead of using it in the classrooms, to build additional classrooms that potentially you won't even use, then maybe, you know, you could build a cafeteria or maybe an auditorium.
Well, and I think one thing that we need is some sort of dedicated space for, you know, inclement weather where we can put elementary kids and they can still play and, you know.
Like an elementary,
Almost like-
elementary gym, then have to.
Yeah,
be a full
oh,
gym,
yeah,
but
yeah,
small
not a
gym.
full gym, or even for elementary PE, that way, you know, the wear and tear is off the courts and
You don't have to
even
walk
if, yeah,
across the
and,
street.
yeah, and if they don't have to walk across the street, or however it's gonna be, or even, you know, and I'm just thinking high end here, it doesn't have to be that fancy, but like the administration building in Artesia, you know, it has so many different partitions that it's just this huge space, but you can partition it off and, you know, maybe we can have conferences going in one thing, or we can put the students going in different areas. You can have a parent meeting here and some sort of workshop there, but it's just some sort of space that's available for whatever we need, almost on demand.
As long as we don't turn it into big storage.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Or,
And we
or
do
a
need
big
storage.
storage.
We do need storage.
Or added staff bathrooms, you know, that aren't all at the front where you have to walk all the way across the street.
Well, I think a bad thing if we did get it, if we get, I agree with the classroom thing, because bigger classrooms is gonna lead to kids
Mhm.
spreading out more. You know, putting
That's a
more
good
stuff
thing.
on the floors.
You see that as a bad thing?
Well, they tend to carrying more junk with them.
The teachers, they bring more stuff.
No, I was gonna say one in particular.
I say, just leave 5,000 feet for the shop
For sure.
So we don't have to give an answer today.
No, and, you know, and I think I would prefer that we have more information and hopefully by next month, you know.
Do you have a square foot cost per, I mean, could you?
Right
figure-
now, it's anywhere from $700 to $900. It's,
Square foot.
it's pretty expensive.
I could do that all over.
It's a lot.
$2 billion. I said 200 square feet, $200. and that
Well,
was-
it's 13,000, or was it?
At $200, it was like 1.9 million.
13,000 a square foot.
So it's like 10 million-ish, give or take inflation. Or it's gonna be deflated, so.
They're selling the border wall, the old border wall, so maybe use some of that.
Maybe we get a boardroom, yeah. Yeah, one of those.
Mhm.
Get some of those
Right
bills
here.
your buddy's taking, you can make their own.
It's not a budget.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hey, you guys are lucky. This is a really nice one, okay? Dexter's is very simple.
Oh, I know.
Just a table.
Where they do the hospitality for basketball.
Do we need to table this till,
Yes, until we have more information.
I move, can motion that we table?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Thank you. Tabled. Till after, at least, next week or so.
Hopefully next week, Mr. Decker, or from Decker Farm, he'll be able to provide us more information. And he'll give me some numbers, and then, of course, I'm hoping that PSFA will respond. I think it's worth
They're
it.
gonna have to foot the bill some too, right? Or
Mhm.
we think so.
Yes, no, they definitely do. It's not going to be, for.
Yeah.
But I'm just hoping that, with the waiver, that our part, that would be it.
I mean,
That's what I'm hoping.
what, 13 million or something? That's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
Next item, payment to A-Rod.
Okay, so,
I got pictures.
during the Dig Pink event, Mr. Rodriguez, he fabricated and donated, I don't know if you guys were here, but he donated a really nice quality cornhole board. And I mean, it generated a lot of money. I really tried to buy it. I wanted to buy it for my kids here at school, at the high school kids. But anyway, somebody else beat me to it. And I asked A-Rod if, he had any more. So I asked him if he could go ahead and build 2 of them so we could use, at the high school, sometimes the kids they don't have anything to do during I call it their recess, it's still their break time, but, and I think that this is going to be something that they will enjoy. I asked A-Rod to create this, however, in looking into the procurement and some of the guidelines, we are not to be using employees. We cannot be paying employees, okay? I made some phone calls, and today I contacted, CES, and one of the guys said, yes, it can be done if it's activity funds. Well, this is going to be paid through activity funds. But then there's so many contradicting, like, okay, yes, you can do it. No, you cannot. There's some information that I got here.
So she's firing me. So she
No,
can take
I'm
it.
not
I
firing
was
you.
gonna say, I mean,
I'm not firing you. I mean, this is for the kids, and, it says here, in most cases,
Yeah.
schools in New Mexico and many other states must adhere to the, strict policies when it comes to paying employees for goods or services, particularly under procurement and conflict of interest laws. Typically, these policies are guided to, and then there's, there's whatever our board policy is, we don't really have a board policy for that. And then it says here that the New Mexico Public Education does not explicitly prohibit schools from purchasing goods or services from their own employees. However, such transactions are subject to strict regulations to prevent conflicts of interest and ensure compliance with state laws. Again, this is not going to be, now, but it says here, for instance, Albuquerque Public Schools require that any contract over $1,000 involving an employee must be disclosed and approved to ensure it is conducted at arm's length, meaning that employees do not influence the transaction due to their position. A-Rod did not influence anything, and it's not over $1,000. This is going to be, what, $600? And it's for the kids. Again, this is, activity money that will be used to pay him. So I'm requesting that you approved and that we just are transparent just in case the auditor says something about it.
I'm gonna ask, just to ask, but do we have a shop class, but the kids can actually build them?
You know what? Maybe that's, in the future, and I think that'd be
In the
great,
future.
in the future.
Why not now?
Because our woodworking equipment, we upgraded it this year, and so I'm in the process of installing the new stuff right now.
I saw their dog houses.
Yeah.
No.
Please.
The homeless shelter outside.
Yeah.
Sorry, no.
Let me pat my design and then they can do whatever they want. So,
How many are you gonna build?
Two.
they're already done, they're ready.
I think each board member should get one for free.
One board or one set?
I'll give you a bag.
We are one board.
One board. You are on board.
You know, this is for the kids, and when I use activity funds for fireworks, whatever it is, but in this case, I just want to be transparent, and I asked him if, if he could do this for the kids.
Tips on first game.
And I think the kids they will enjoy it, so.
We're gonna set them up over there between or just indoors.
Probably outside in
No.
Patio.
the patio. Mhm. And then we're just gonna have to, take them
I
inside.
need a room because it might go
Just like your basketball shop.
floaters.
I saw it.
Have no choice but to go in if you
That's
throw
right.
so high.
It's the same situation that I'm, dealing with right now with Parker. And it's really hard. Okay, first of all, we are a small district. And sometimes we have to use, for example, we pay Parker for DJ services, whether it's prom, any kind of dance. With this, not being able to pay employees, then that means that we have to find somebody from elsewhere. We pay Parker sometimes $100, $200, and he doesn't really want to charge. So we use activity money to pay for that, which is for the kids as well. But then, if we can't use him, then that means that we have to hire somebody from the outside, and it's going to be $1,600 or more. And we can't afford that. But
We just can't be paying an employee, they can't get a 1099 and a W-2. And so the limit on that is like $600.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's.
which you're right there.
Right there.
You're right there,
I'm
Ava.
not there yet.
You're not there yet.
Any other questions?
Because otherwise, if you're paying your employee, you also need to be doing retirement, and and the school would need to pay for retirement and all of that goes with it.
Any questions, concerns?
We're okay with the policy, with even not having something in place?
Yes, we are okay.
Bills less than 1,000.
And again, I just want this to be transparent.
Okay, just need a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Chris.
I'll second.
I actually think you would make the board.
All in favor, say aye.
At least kids with their woodworking skills are.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We're starting to work on the
Cornhole champion.
Starting to work on the.
Next item is speed bumps.
Okay, so on this one, we just want to be proactive. And Parker's going to tell you a little bit more. So apparently this last week, and I don't know if you heard or saw on Facebook or the news, that apparently in a school in Texas, I believe?
Yeah.
Boulder, Texas.
Boulder, Texas? Okay, so a little girl, second grader, was, this was at the parent drop-off, and the mother, I don't know, somehow, Parker, do you have that information?
The jacket got caught in the in the door as she got out. And the parent did not know, and the parent took off driving and drove. Long story short, the second grader passed away due to the injuries, right there in the middle of the drive line of the school.
And so, Cody had sent it to me, Justin sent it to all the different admin, and so I was thinking like, we really don't have any speed bumps on campus. There's mornings I'm walking over here to meet with Cody or something, and parents were running late or things like that. I'm scared of my life, and I'm an adult. Sometimes in that drive line, when parents take off, because they take off very fast. One of our vendors, Northern Tool, they do sell speed bumps. They range from $50 to $80. They're really easy to install. They're just the rubber ones. You hit them, most schools have them. You hit them, it's going to slow you down. I mean, it's going to bounce the crap out of you. And so I kind of was proposing and talking to Ms. Reyes, like it might be a good idea to add, and Williams and I talked a little bit about it, was staggering them through the drive line, just to keep people slow down no matter what. Even though there's 4 lanes there, you never know what's going to happen. Just be proactive. I would hate to be walking across and someone get hit, myself get hit. Sometimes these little kids in the mornings, they just take off running, and the people conducting traffic might not notice them until it's too late. And so anything to just protect our little ones, and even our high school kids, they're walking across the street 3 or 4 times a day. I would say maybe 5 to 6 speed bumps, just maybe not even that many, but stagger them throughout the drive line, or even one going into the student parking lot, just to help slow kids down and make our campus a little bit more smooth and safer for everyone.
You know, I contacted Rochelle. She says, well, this street was practically, donated to us, let's put it that way. So we can do it if we want to. But then again, I mean, this is another item that we probably have to just, look into it more, because I need to make sure that it's a city, and maybe you can help us, A-Rod, that, is it the city that we need to contact? Is it the state? But I think, when it comes to the safety of the kids, we definitely need something out there. I mean, we already had a fender bender this year. And, people, they're not paying attention. They're looking at the phone, texting. And then we had another one that almost ran into, over one of the teachers, one of the teachers who are doing, helping the students there. So, I mean, I just think we need to be proactive. If we have those speed bumps, it's going to help.
Just anything to slow down traffic. I've seen a lot of traffic, even on the main drags, just people halt that.
And believe me, that was the best thing that we could have done, just
The drive line.
have the drive line, and it has helped tremendously. But, I mean, just thinking of what happened to this poor little girl.
So are these more of a temporary, or are they permanent, or?
They could go either way. The ones I was primarily looking at, it comes with a metal stake and you hammer it right into the ground, which would be very proactive for us, just because we're going to be going into the phase of construction, going into the phase shifting stuff around. Like, we don't want to be pouring pavement and then 6 months down the road be like, oh crap, we're gonna have to tear it out. Like, at least these, like, if they wear down, get ruined, we can easily replace them or move them around and stuff like that to change traffic patterns. They have like 6 or 12 different models. The ones I found are the ones I absolutely hate hitting really hard. And so I don't like hitting them. I'm sure other people, and especially in some of the cars around here, aren't gonna want to hit them. And it'll just really force them to slow down. I want to say they were $52, and it came with 2 stakes and the rubber speed bump.
Yeah, but that'd be my question, like Ms. Race was saying, do we need to talk to the city or state before we just start
Yeah.
pounding stakes into the road?
That's basically the school's road right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's what Rochelle said, that it was really the schools. But then, okay, so that's the town. But what if the state says, no, you can't do that? So I just need to make sure that we look into that. And really, you know, the approval today was just so that, you know, if you want us to look into it. And then
I
we
know
can,
when they did made it a one-way, I think they kind of talked to the people that affects them on the end, like your folks and all.
Yeah.
I know, that, you know, at the time when they did that, they didn't mind that. I don't know if a speed bump, they'd care about that or not.
I wouldn't.
I will say this, they're gonna complain about it just because I see how one of the young gentlemen at that house drives down our street off hours.
That's inevitable.
And sad thing is, the way he comes into that street, if we're having after school activities, he's gonna hit someone. I've left the school pretty late and I've seen.
Well, and like Ms. Reyes says, I mean, it's a proactive, outside of the cones, really, there's nothing stopping kids from, or adults, kids, students, to drive however fast they want. And so at least this is a deterrent. And for me, as far as protecting kids and staff, I'm all for it. You know, if we need to put it in tomorrow, I'll be here tomorrow, hammer them in, because it's just gonna help protect, our staff and our kids as they cross the road.
The students are told to go around though, right? None of the students drive through here.
no, none of the students, you know, we probably have a few in the mornings that probably drop off their siblings.
Yeah.
But rarely,
Most of them,
rarely.
normally when I'm coming in, if I'm running late, most of them, they're dropping off a middle school kid, they're coming on the backside, dropping off their younger sibling and then pulling around. It's,
And you know, and maybe this is something, you know, like maybe a summer project, I don't know. I really think that we probably need to, it's so confusing the way the lanes are. They're just like zigzags and going every direction.
Talk about our crosswalk ones.
Yes, and I think that we need to repaint and delete some of those.
It would help.
And then-
No diagonals. I think they all need to be straight
Straight.
across.
I think
Yes,
the
I
diagonals
totally
get to
agree.
where people are just walking across and that becomes more of a safety. So it'd almost be middle school to elementary, middle school to central office, and then those are your two that you cross. I know we talked about it at one point.
But, you know, I can look into it if you guys, you know, but then again, you know, I'll call the state and see what.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. I wouldn't be stingy with it either.
Yeah,
Make sure you have
don't go cheap.
plenty of them
Yeah.
Mhm.
all the way down the
All the
street.
way down to your mom's house?
2 cents, yeah. And down inside the gym, I don't.
No, I totally agree. And even, yeah, no, you're right.
I think the gym
Yeah.
is the worst.
I think
I hate
around
parking lot duty in the mornings, like, some of those high schoolers come in and I'm like, I'll text an SRO like, hey, come talk to this kid.
Yeah.
You know, I had also looked into, or Gary and I had looked into getting a gate over here going to the high school. At this point, I think it was, what was it, Gary, like $44,000, somewhere around there. But at this point, because until we know exactly what's going to happen with the, you know, our new school, we better wait on that.
Pearly gates?
Definitely
Good
for that.
Yeah, it was one of those nice.
Lord.
We have a shop class too.
Yeah.
That we-
Brand new welders.
Build a gate.
I said,
Brand new
couple pieces
Maybe.
of pipe, swinging gate.
Maybe if their welders are working.
No, those are working.
Okay.
Good ventilation.
Good.
Hey, let's get some benches going then, some chairs and some cool things.
That is actually our next project we're fixing to start, so.
Any other questions or any?
You got some 2.78 pipe you can just throw out there on the road right now?
That's what all the ranchers are doing down the lease road. Just cut a piece of
Like-
casing in half and
For a cattle barn.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't go cheap on the speed bump either.
Make sure there's plenty of them.
I'll make a motion to approve the checking into it, I guess.
Moved by Chris,
I'll say,
by Misty. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Okay, motion carries. Miss Reyes.
Okay.
You ready for me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so, I don't know if, some of you have ever looked at my newsletters, but I do send them every Sunday. And I do have a letter there, which is, talking about the, inclement weather. And I've had it there for, this is like the third, week. And basically, what we are doing, and Mr. Williams talked about it a little bit. Mr. Williams already posted about his remote, learning days, and so did, Ms. Cody. So basically, we don't have a lot of snow days. And I don't know if you recall, last year, we used a lot of days for wind and, all the gusts. That will probably happen again, or maybe not, because we've been getting snow, so maybe, that should be okay. However, and I know that it is really difficult to be out of school for wind, but in this area, it is it's a hazard. And so that's why, we have so many of them. And, right now we do have some days embedded into, for inclement weather. However, if we use too many days, then we have to make them up at the end of the year. So we do have the option to be able to go into remote learning. However, it's not just going into remote learning and, call it remote learning. The teachers, they need to have a plan. So the teachers, at the secondary level, it's really simple because the kids know how to use Google Classroom, so the assignments will be into, Google Classroom. And then the teachers are required to have office hours, just in case that the parents or the kids, they need to. So the teachers need to provide like a Zoom, and that will be their office hours. For the elementary, Mark, would you like to talk about your plan a little bit? I mean,
Yeah, we created a elementary webpage. When you're on the home page, on the side of the picture there's an elementary button. And that'll send you to the elementary homepage, and then on there's a remote learning, and they can click, and then there's activities for all grade levels for reading and math, and so. If we need to update that as we get further down the year, then it's easy to update because all the pages are posted, and stuff. So we'll, met with the leadership team, we'll start adding to that, more content there, then next year we'll really use it where teachers will have their own page and stuff like that.
And and it doesn't mean that there's gonna be a cancellation, but you just never know with the weather. This week, we are supposed to be getting snow. I don't know how much. And, but if we do, we will be prepared and we will call it a remote learning instead of, just a cancellation. Will all the kids participate? Probably not, but at least we're covering ourselves and, we are prepared just in case we have too many. So we could probably use about 3. After that, then, it starts, we have to make them up at the end of the year. Okay, so that is, posted, and then we do have the links where, you can actually go into each page. Then, I hope you don't mind, but I went ahead and posted your pictures on the website, so I don't know if you guys saw them, and so just basically with a note and letting people know that it's Board Appreciation Week, and that's why we have the dinner, so thank you very much, and it says here honoring the dedicated members of the Hagerman Board of Education. Their hard work and commitment make a lasting impact of our students in the school. So I'm just requesting, take a moment to thank our board members for their service. So, a simple thank you goes a long way. So I hope you guys receive emails, and then we have your pictures. So thank you for everything you do. So we do have early dismissal this Wednesday, and students will be dismissed at 1 p.m. Once again, we will be having the Bobcat Bible break, and they'll come, from the church and pick up the kids from 12:40. By 1 o'clock they'll be out, and then they will go over to the church, and the kids will be there till about 4 o'clock. I mean, in the past, the last one, I think they had do you recall, was it 70 kids, I believe, 79, I believe, somewhere around there. And the kids really enjoy it, and I think this is a great opportunity for our students. We are helping them, and, we receive money from TNT, and we are helping them with donations for snacks. And the kids are really enjoying that. So last month, and I did mention to you that we had a pet here, and basically they came in here to provide and give the high school so the high school, as you recall, we had a designation of CSI, School of Needing Improvement. We have exited that designation, and so we have PED. They came in here and they provided, the school with a recognition for our improvement. And, there's pictures they gave us, and we have it there in the gym because right now a lot of people are coming to the basketball game, so we want people to see it. And there's a poster there that says, "Congratulations, Hagerman High School for exiting school improvement status in 2024. And, kids were very excited. Not very many kids were here that day, but the ones that were here, they got a chance to, experience that and see the ceremony and take pictures. So, okay. Then the next item that I have, and I gave you a copy of your, in your folder. So actually, these are some of the guidance. I'm sure you've probably heard about the massive deportations. And families are living in fear right now. I've had several families, go into my office and they just don't know what to do. And right now, this is the guidance that we have. It's a lot. So basically right now, the only thing, I cannot send a letter and ensure the families that nothing is going to happen because I can't. So the only thing that we could do right now until they tell us is because of FERPA, we cannot provide any information. But then again, if the president says, you do this, what do we do? Okay. So at your convenience, your leisure time, go ahead and read these. And basically it's just explaining what we can do, how to promote a safe and secure campus for all. It's a lot of information. And but right now, if somebody comes in and they want student records, we don't provide them just like that. So that is the only guidance that we currently have from PET. Which is really not much. The only thing we have, it's like, well, it's, bless you.
Thank you.
Because of FERPA, we cannot disclose any information. And that's all I have. I stand for questions. If you have any questions related to this, send me an email.
Any questions for me?
So, one more thing, and I like to apologize for, we have the upcoming NMSBA, and there's a miscommunication in regards to the hotel. I mean, we got us a good hotel, okay? We got us a good hotel. It is 0.3 miles to the El Dorado. I had requested for the one which is the Santa Fe Hilton, which is right next door. Well, I said Santa Fe Hilton, but the person that did the booking ordered the Santa Fe Hotel. And It's not next to the El Dorado. It's about 0.3 miles. I mean, it's a really nice hotel. If you'd like, I can go ahead and, look into getting the other one. There is, I mean, I did call today and it was $294 per night, which, it exceeds what our allotment. So, I mean, if you guys are okay staying at the Santa Fe or,
Yeah.
it's a really nice hotel. It's a
I
really nice
understand.
hotel. The only thing is that we're just gonna have to walk a little bit.
Need a good walk.
Last year, all the girls, they had a shuttle the year
3/10 of a
before,
mile.
conference room.
It's Santa Fe, it could be 2 degrees that day.
Bring your cup.
Chris, you gonna be all right?
I'm gonna,
Bring your
me and
blanket.
Destry are sharing a room, and I'm gonna drive him to. I'll be here.
You're gonna be like, Uber?
I'll be here.
As long as Chris is.
I'm sorry, unless, if
where
you
did we
want
stay
to,
at?
I mean, I
2
can,
years ago.
That was way down there.
That was way down
farther.
there.
That was like
Yeah.
the,
Was that Santa Fe or
no.
No,
It was Santa Fe, but it was way down there.
Yeah.
you're good, Miss Reyes. It's good.
Yeah, we've had much.
I can
worse.
walk. It's not a big deal.
I can walk too. but
And
I'm
usually
not-
they have.
I'm full of kids walking. It's not. It's cold.
There's a parking lot in Santa Fe, so maybe you need to walk, dude.
It's true, they're gonna charge for parking.
What is the hotel called?
Santa
it's
Fe.
the Hotel Santa Fe. It's a really nice one, really kind of like Pueblo style.
I think we stayed there one time.
I don't know. Last year, we stayed at the Santa Fe Hilton, which was right next to the El Dorado. But then last year, the convention was at the convention center.
So they moved it back to the old.
See,
And they moved it back to the El Dorado. And see, what happened this year is, as much as I wanted to be in the same hotel because it's convenient, they send out the notification during Christmas break. And they fill up quickly. So I wasn't, we weren't able to book then, but
Yeah, it's right next to a hot dog place. We're good. I was looking at the hotel.
Looking up for Chris.
We're good.
But I mean, it is 0.3. The other one that I was looking into, the Drury, which is it's a beautiful place. It's nice. They have breakfast. They also have dinner. And, but it's almost a mile away. It's actually, well, I don't think it's a mile away, but it's, I think it was 0.8, a little bit further.
It's all
The
good.
This is
the one
fine,
you
yeah.
booked is fine.
This year's back at that place where we were at 2 years ago?
No.
No, not the hotel, but
The
the
El Dorado,
the
yeah.
place where it's at. Okay.
And I'll continue calling and if somebody,
I wouldn't worry about it.
No, don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
We're good.
my apologies for that.
Oh, no, you're good.
Like, how
That's
much
what you can see,
nicer is it
Francis.
compared to
Oh,
where we
shit,
have stayed?
whatever.
No, it's really nice. It's really nice. I mean, they're giving us a convention rate and we're still paying like
Oh, there's a
$215.
spa there?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, we're not moving.
The hot springs.
Is there a bar?
I think so, yes.
No, but you can walk to it.
Maybe I can get you to give me a ride.
I'll
Yeah.
want you drinking or walking or drinking and driving. I'll be your,
they got
Uber.
beers. We
Uber
can
XL.
walk.
You walk. I'm not walking. We're good.
All right, is that everything for Ms. Reyes? Any questions? We gotta get on the executive session, so appreciate everybody. Thank y'all.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, guys.
I see a motion to go over there.
I'll make a motion.
Second by Chris. And then roll call.
That's